Multnomah County Board voted unanimously today on an ordinance to regulate the public display of human remains for payment. This comes after a man's body was autopsied in front of a paying audience in downtown Portland last year. Fox 2's Mia Villanueva has more on the disturbing details of this case and how local leaders are making sure it never happens again.
Board members were in tears during a testimony from Elsie Saunders, the wife of the man whose autopsy was performed in front of a paying audience of 70 people in downtown Portland. She says she was stunned and horrified by what happened to her late husband and hopes no other family has to go through this again.
I'm deeply hurt and frustrated that I was unable to save my husband from the violation of his remains. I was duped by selfish and immoral people for the sake of their personal monetary gain.
That's the voice of Elsie Saunders, the wife of the late David Saunders, a World War II veteran who died last year from COVID-19. He donated his body to medical research, and his body was then used for a public autopsy back on October 17th of 2021 at the Marriott Hotel on Nadeau Parkway. The event was held by the company Death Science, which Multnomah County Chief Medical Examiner Kimberly DeLeo says, quote, had no credentials. She says Death Science purchased the body from MedEd Labs, a private for-profit body broker, who she says had no idea the body would be used for public display. During Thursday's meeting, DeLeo describes what she saw in videos of that event.
Members of the public without appropriate PPE participating in the autopsy of the deceased. Also on this video, an armband was located on the wrist, which identified the deceased as Mr. David Saunders.
DeLeo says she reached out to the Portland Police Bureau and the Oregon Medical Board to stop the event before it happened, but neither felt they had the legal authority to do so. Now she and other local leaders are taking action to make sure what happened to the body of David Saunders doesn't happen again.
No family should bear the horror or guilt associated with learning that their loved one was placed on display for paying members of the public to autopsy and touch their organs in a hotel ballroom.
Horror and guilt are what Elsie Saunders says she will live with until she dies because of what happened to her husband's body.
Added to my grief for his loss is the vision in my mind of his naked and defenseless body being dismembered like a butcher preparing an animal carcass for sale.
The board heard Saunders' pain and voted unanimously on an ordinance regulating the public display of human remains for payment. During the meeting, we also heard from the district attorney in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He says he hopes other communities adopt this call for change to protect the bodies of the deceased. For now, reporting from Southeast Portland, I'm Mia Villanueva, Fox 12 Oregon.